What could possibly be more important than looks, money, or status in terms of getting laid, in terms of getting hot girlfriends? The answer is confidence. No, I'm just kidding. The answer is game. No, I'm just kidding again. The answer is personality. Of course I'm joking. The answer is exposure. How many girls see you eye to eye on a day-to-day basis? It doesn't even have to be eye to eye. It can be on screen. How many girls actually see you will determine how many girls are actually attracted to you. The more that girls see you, the odds are higher that more girls will find you attractive. Think about celebrities. They're exposed to millions of women on a consistent basis. So obviously there's going to be a high population of women that will find the particular actor attractive. Just think of a prime Brad Pitt. How many girls would be lusting after him if he worked at Home Depot? Not very many, especially in comparison to in his prime when he's in all these movies exposed to millions of women all the time. It's the same thing for yourself. How many girls actually see you on a consistent basis will determine, finding the girls that are attracted to you. The more women see you, the higher your potential for success. So, what does that mean? Location is super important in determining your success with the opposite sex. How many options you have. I know there's mainstream advice saying you should move to Southeast Asia or South America because it's way easier to get laid. And this is 100% true. However, many guys don't have the opportunity to simply up and leave and move to a different country in order to get laid easier. However, it also works on a microscopic level as well. So, what can you do living in your Western country, most likely, whether it be Canada, US, Australia, or Western Europe? How can you improve your exposure to women without having to move to a different country? The answer is simple. You have to move to areas with higher population density. The greater the population density, the more women will see you. And the more women that see you, the easier it is to find girls that are interested in you. You'll be able to look in their eyes, and they'll be able to look in your eyes, and you can tell that this girl's interested. More choosing signals will be shown your way. There's a reason why businesses spend millions of dollars renting out downtown store locations as opposed to renting out a cheaper location on the outskirts of town. It's because the more foot traffic, the more exposure that they get, the higher their potential for sales. So that's why, living downtown is so expensive. Leasing downtown for a business storefront is so expensive because you have a higher potential for growth. Just like where you start your business will determine how profitable it is, where you live will determine how many girls you get and the quality of girls that you get. I'll use a fishing analogy to drive this point home. Let's say your buddy comes home from a weekend of fishing and he shows you a ton of pictures of these massive trophy fish that he caught over the weekend on a fishing trip. What's the first question you ask him? Do you ask him, what lure did you use? No. You asked him where you caught those fish. It's the single most important factor in his success. And it's the single most important factor in your success with women. It's the reason why fishermen all keep their best fishing spots a secret. Because it's that important. It's the single most important factor in his success. Location matters the most. If you want to catch lots of fish, you have to go where there's lots of fish. It's simple as that. You could have the world's best lure and be the world's best fisherman, but if you're fishing in a fishing hole with not a lot of fish and the fish aren't very hungry, you're going to catch shit all. So yeah, location is the most important. I want you to think about your daily routine and how much exposure to attractive women you have in your day-to-day life. If you're like most guys, it's probably not very much. You probably work a job with a lot of men, like a sausage party job, whether it be construction, engineering, IT, whatever. It means very few women will ever lay eyes on you on your 9 to 5 job. So you get in your car in the morning, you drive to work, and you work your 9 to 5, you work 8 hours in a totally sausage factory job with no females around. So of course your chances with the opposite sex are essentially zero at this point. So you finish work at let's say 5 and you drive home and it's at 6 o'clock now. You've got a hobby, maybe it's working out. Okay, so you go to the gym and maybe, just maybe, there's a hot chick there that can look at you, and maybe she's single, maybe she's not. But again, the majority of gyms are majority men. At least the gyms that I go to. There's not a ton of women around. But even still, your odds are very low of meeting a girl that's checking you out and you find her attractive. So, you finish up at the gym, you go to a grocery store, and maybe, just maybe, there'll be a hot chick there. But again, there's no guarantees. These are our only 2 opportunities at this point. Maybe there's one at the gym, maybe there's one at the grocery store. There's no hot chicks on either location. So you go home, finish for the day, and you go to bed, and you essentially had 0 opportunities with the opposite sex because no actually hot women ever saw you. So they had no way of expressing any interest in you, no way of even knowing you exist. Your opportunity to get laid or to find a hot girlfriend were essentially 0. Now let's say you live downtown and you work downtown. You wake up in the morning, you walk to work, and on your way to work, you meet and see a lot of hot girls because they're everywhere. There's a lot more population density. Girls can see you and you can see them. So the odds of a girl signaling you that she's interested are a lot higher. The more that you girls see you, the higher your chances of some that'll be attracted and interested in what you're selling. Honestly, downtown in a population dense environment, it doesn't matter if it's on the street or at the grocery store, at the gym. Everything is going to have more people and more women, and more girls will see you, which makes it a hell of a lot easier to find the girls that are interested in you because there's more that are seeing you and looking at you. What do you think is going to be harder, selling your product in the suburbs where there's barely any people around that see your product, or a downtown environment where there's like thousands of eyes that can see your product? When so many girls see you, you can see the choosing signals. They look at you and you look at them, and often that's enough for them to signal their interest in you, which makes, getting laid, getting girlfriends that much easier. This even has an impact on like online dating as well. The closer you are to the downtown core, the higher your odds of success with every girl. Girls in suburbs, girls that live downtown, because you're around more hot women. You're closer to more girls, so it's easier for them to get to you. And where you work, of course, matters. This is where you spend at least 8 hours a day of your life. And if you work in a sausage factory, like most guys, doing like masculine jobs like construction, like engineering, everything, there's going to be barely any women around. No women will see you, which means the large part of your day, you're just going to be around men. And hopefully you have some sort of avenue where outside of work you can put yourself around more women and get exposed to more women. This is why you will never see like bartenders, lifeguards, or waiters or fitness instructors complaining about like not being able to get laid. To them, the whole concept of cold approach and approaching women that they don't know is kind of foreign to them, because the women will simply show interest in them and they'll take it from there. So they never have to go out of their way to like approach women. And think about it, when you work in this environment, let's say like as a lifeguard or a bartender, You're around attractive women 8 hours a day. Compare that to an office drone or a like engineering guy or a IT guy who's on his computer all day, around 0 women for that 8-hour period. Of course the guy that's around hot women is going to clean up. It doesn't matter his skill, his attractiveness, that helps, but it's not the determining factor. It's the fact that he's exposed to more women. This is why you can have guys that are even less good looking as you, like have less looks than you, less money than you, and they could be getting laid more than you because they're exposed to more women. And they're rolling the dice more. They're essentially playing the numbers game more than you are. If you're a decent looking guy and, have your life together, but you're not getting laid, it's probably because you're not getting exposed to attractive women, or any women for that matter. And I understand most guys don't have the luxury of taking time to like work as a bartender or lifeguard. They've got to make money in their engineering job or their IT profession. And they can't just up and quit to get a job that puts them around more women in order to get laid more. In a future video, I'll go over how to increase your exposure to women by changing up your daily routine. And one of the easiest things that online dating has changed was made exposure more available to everyone. So Tinder has monetized exposure for men. The more money you pay, the more often your pictures will get shown to more women, and they will be able to see you and swipe on you. They've monetized exposure and monetized getting laid. This is how important it is. The more girls see your pictures, the more girls that lay eyes on you, the higher your odds are for success. Now, of course, if you've got terrible looks and terrible money and terrible status, you're going to have to be exposed to even more women than the average guy to find the girls that are interested in you. In fact, there may not be any that are interested in you. In that case, let's say you've exposed yourself to, like, you live downtown or you live in an environment where you're exposed to a lot of girls, but none of them show any interest. Then it's time to upgrade yourself. You've got some work to do. So the next time you see a guy with less looks than you or comparable looks to you, but he's absolutely crushing it with the ladies, it's probably because he puts himself in environments with high exposure to women. It's not his game, it's not his personality, it's not his dominance or whatever. It's the fact that he's exposed to more women. More women see him and can express their interest in him. This is because he is essentially playing the numbers game more than you. So therefore, exposure is really the most important factor in your success with women. The more women that see you, the higher your odds are for success. This is why you can have a guy that looks great, you can have a high prestigious job, and he can still struggle to be getting laid because there's no women see him. He's like an unknown. No one's ever laid eyes on this guy. But you take that same guy, give him some great pictures, put him on Tinder, and where he's swiping around thousands of women get to see him, he starts cleaning up because he's finally being exposed to more women. Exposure really is the most important aspect of fixing your sex life and your relationship life with women. It'll increase your abundance mentality tenfold. Alright guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching.